Dan joins us from New Jersey to talk Liverpool's slide to mid-table mediocrity, their options in the offseason, and their chances at top four, while Jarrett basks in Chelsea's recent run of good form under Tuchel. The Bale, Son, Kane trio may propel Spurs back into the top four mix, and the relegation battle heats up with Fulham showing some life, and Newcastle and Brighton floundering. We down here in the Rat Tail Bunker and Barbershop studio, and this is the Boys and Bolos podcast. Welcome back to the Boys and Bolos podcast. We down here in the Rat Tail Bunker and Barbershop studio. Jarrett, I'm going to get this right this time. Week 27 is over. We are now into week 28, but we've played week 29. It's a very wild time to be watching.
A wild event, a wild affair. It's actually hard enough to explain to people how the Premier League works that, we don't have playoffs. We just play a set season. Imagine the NBA where you just play all 82 games and at the end, whoever had the highest thing would win. People would really hate that. And now being like, and the weeks don't go week after, you have week 29 in between weeks 27 and 28. That's really brutal.
Again, we have another guest this week.
We have another guest. Our guest today, so he's from Philly.
Yep.
Spends a lot of time in NYC. Well, from Pennsylvania. Spends a lot of time in NYC, but I believe he's living in New Jersey City still. None other than Dan Waldron. Dan Waldron, welcome to the pod. How you doing?
Good, guys. How's it going? Some of that was accurate. I live in West New York, New Jersey, the worst named city in America.
West New York, New Jersey.
I love it.
At least it is exactly. At least it is west of New York. Which is nice.
No, accurate. Yeah, who wouldn't find it?
How is West New York, New Jersey?
Wait.
Where is West New York?
No. Wait, slow down.
No one knows.
He said exactly. He said some of this is accurate. What is inaccurate?
The Pennsylvania, I'm not from Philly, but my dad is, so that one's all right. And then, the New Jersey City. I don't know if that's a place.
It's just Jersey City.
Jersey City, and I don't live there.
Oh, it's just Jersey City.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm horrible, huh?
Everyone craps on New Jersey.
I have some relatives that live in New Jersey, Montclair area. Montclair?
Yeah.
Is that a place?
That's a nice place.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's a nice place.
The Burbs.
A lot of New York Giants players live there, I think.
Yeah, there's some fancy
kind of
houses in mine.
So it's a bougie place.
Very bougie.
I like that.
Yeah.
But is bougie Jersey nice?
This is a controversial question.
This is a question that has baffled real estate agents for years.
Jersey excites a lot of opinions.
Some call it the armpit of America.
Exactly. It's called the armpit of America. And I remember the first time I remembered going to Jersey, we went over the bridge from New York. And I think we had just been positioned behind a dumpster truck. And so it actually smelled horrible.
Yeah.
And I was like 14 or 15, and we were driving down to go to some tournament in Jersey because New Jersey is definitely a place where great soccer players come from.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, wow, so it's true, Dad. It's the armpit of America. And I didn't realize until we were over, we were behind a dumpster.
No, we actually sprayed that on the bridges and tunnels. It's just a little welcome from us to you.
Oh.
Yeah, the Jersey Turnpike is just
it just kind of keeps the
stench.
It keeps the riffraff out.
Yeah.
Prince said about Minnesota. He's like, I like Minnesota because it's so cold there aren't fake people.
That's amazing.
So, and then you think of the opposite of that would be LA or Miami where it's hot. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're getting off track.
Well, Dan
is here for a therapy session.
Liverpool fan.
He is a Liverpool lover, fan.
Went from the highest of highs to now the middlest of middles.
That's generous.
Yeah, that was very generous.
The highest of... Basically, he was at a high school party, and it was super fun, and he was getting to know... he was falling in love and he was loving the time, and then his parents came home. That's kind of what happened.
The cop showed up.
Yeah,
the cop showed up, but your dad was a cop.
Yeah. And your friends are all no, we'll take the fall with you. And then you step forward and they're all gone. You just look around.
Exactly. No, we got your back. It's like a cloud of dust. Anyway, so let's start right there. And actually, Jeff reminded me before we recorded that we had a week 29 game. For Liverpool, it's been brutal because the last two games have been losses to Chelsea. And then more recently, Burnley?
Fulham.
Oh my gosh. Fulham.
Full America.
Full force. So, Dan, you want to start there? I guess here's my question. Let's look at the top three. Salah, Firmino, and Mane.
Yeah.
Next year, which one are you benching? Which one are you trading? And which one are you starting?
Okay, you didn't. Well, I don't know if we can curse on the show now. What's the
No,
policy?
you can.
Okay.
We put the little E on
I
it.
thought you were gonna make me go fuck, marry, kill, and I was
Wait,
I was prepared to do it if I had to.
It's a fuck, marry, kill. If you want to go that angle, we might get our ratings will shoot up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just FML,
The new
EPL
segment.
all day long.
Exactly.
Marry, kill, EPL.
Yeah,
It's a new podcast.
This is actually going to be the new question that we ask.
I like
you can
this.
either you have two roads to go. You can do the fuck, marry, kill with the top three of your team, or you can go with the bench, start, or trade. So I'll let you choose.
yeah. God, it kills me. It kills me to say that. I mean, Kill's got to be Firmino, but it's a mercy killing because no one loves Bobby Firmino as much as I do in his gorgeous white teeth and his weird goal celebrations. And
Wait. When you say mercy kill, is it like really clean? Like he takes a shot at tequila and then you just chop the head off with a katana so he feels no pain?
That or like
what
a
do you mean?
pillow middle of the night sort of situation. Yeah, no, just gentle. You know,
Okay.
he'll never no pain.
Okay,
Because
all
I
right.
love
So he's-
Bobby Firmino.
Well, you know what? If after he's dead, you could sell his veneers, so they have resale value.
Especially on eBay.
Yeah.
You could, we've been looking at Pokemon value, so I'm sure Bobby Firmino's teeth will go for easy $2 million.
As long as you get them PSA grade and they're 10s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You gotta PSA grade those cards. Okay, so Bobby's dead.
Bobby's
now
dead.
you have
Because
Don't
the
sleep
thing,
on
like,
Mane.
he has been scoring goals for a while, but he
Right.
didn't used to care because he was doing so much tracking back. He did all the link up play, like he pressed so hard. So you're willing to live with like a little bit less output, but now it's just nothing's happening.
Dog shit.
It's dog shit. Okay, so Bobby's dead. We've sold the veneers. Now you have Mane and Salah.
Yeah.
Trade and start. What are you doing?
Yeah, this one you go back and forth on because like when Mane's on, he's probably my favorite player to watch in the league because he's just electric. But I feel like he's less consistent. Salah drives me crazier, oddly, but you have to keep him and probably get rid of Mane. And then like there'll be months at a time when you just regret it and wonder why you ever let him go. But then you'll look up at the end of the season, Salah has 23 goals or whatever. You're like, oh yeah, we made the right choice.
That's the way I would go. Would you go any different?
If I could make all the decisions and like I think that would be the choice I would make, but I have to also be a realist. I think like Liverpool, their management is going to probably try to get the most value out of one of those three. And unfortunately for Liverpool fans, it might be like selling Salah.
Selling Salah might actually get you the most value. I go with so you say maybe you sell Salah, maybe you start Mane. I go with what Dan said because I think Salah is still very, very consistent. And I think if you were to sell him after the season, you wouldn't get top dollar because the team has dropped off. The whole energy has
Right.
dropped off. It's really tough though because when you keep Salah, which is what I would do like Dan, and you sell Mane, I think he goes to Barcelona. He's got to go to a top club, not in England, probably Barcelona. You're going to have so much FOMO on ESPN Top 10 when he's like bicycle kicking from like 30 because he's just so class.
Yeah.
He's so class.
Yeah, in any other league, he'll just like.
Oh, any other league, he's just like.
You're going to let him do whatever he wants.
If you can
He's
do it
just
in the
whatever he
Prem,
wants.
you
Yeah.
can destroy other leagues.
Oh yeah, think about that against like some of the lower teams in the Spanish sides. Like it'll be filthy. He'll be putting up like 4 or 5 goals in a good game. He's
Like-
that good.
He is that good. He is that good. Okay, so
Yeah.
we've talked about the front three. There was a stat that came out that in all of English football, all 92 teams across the different tiers, Liverpool is tied with, and I don't have this stat right on me, but it was a team I've never heard of for the lowest amount of goal production at home in 2021.
Nice.
And I guarantee, I'm sorry, I don't have it pulled up. Our intern didn't show up, and when I say he didn't show up, we don't have one. But that team, I guarantee the front three are worth about 100 times that entire club's market value. And so, what are you doing moving forward if you're Klopp, Dan, to get goals? You got to get goal, and it's not just them, right?
No,
they're not
that's
getting the
the
ball out
thing.
of the midfield because
Yeah.
they're not getting the ball from the backs because Allison is not even giving the backs the ball. So. Like what's the silver bullet? What's like the N64 golden gun here with Bond to fix this situation? Is there an easy one?
No, I mean, if there's one silver bullet, it's Virgil van Dijk. I mean, because it's not just the way he like puts the back line together and keeps everybody in sync there. I mean, he actually was responsible for a lot of the distribution to the center backs, to Trent and to Robertson and even himself. Like, I mean, like my favorite goal Liverpool scored in this last run is Mane's goal against Bayern a couple of years ago. And that's a long ball from Virgil on point. I mean, Mane takes a ridiculous touch and then chips Neuer, and it's like the greatest moment of my life. But having him back, that links. I mean, his passing is underrated. He actually is a pretty decent goal threat too. And everybody, and then Fabinho's not playing center back, hopefully, and Henderson's not playing center back. You need fresh legs in the forward line. I mean, Jota's been great, but all of this really down period coincided when he was out. Like, that wasn't a coincidence. And so you need to find not just one more forward, because it's been pretty clear for a while we don't have any backup option. Like, we got weirdly lucky with Divock Origi in a couple of seasons, but there's nothing beyond Jota right now. I mean, Shaqiri starting at forward this last weekend was really, really rough to watch. I really want to see him in a buddy comedy, by the way, with like somebody really tall and suave. Like, it's got to be like Drogba or like Ronaldo, like those two, and Shaqiri, just the human cube wandering around. But
it should be a remake of Twins,
yes.
And it should be Haaland and Shaqiri, and they're twins.
Guys out there, I'm telling you, if you ever just you're in a moment and you don't want to get just too excited, is all I'm saying. Go look at the picture of Xherdan Shaqiri shirtless after a goal. It is the weirdest human body I've ever seen. He's like Danny DeVito as a soccer player. It's amazing.
He is a human cube. He's a human gnome.
How tall is he?
5'4", maybe.
No, okay.
Dwarf 10. And I showed Jeff this video of when he dresses up and he's back. I don't know, he's Swiss but I think he's Albanian by blood.
That's
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And he was at like a local club or whatever, and they had him dressed up just like they had Kyrie dressed up. Have you seen this video?
No.
So he dresses up like an old man and he goes out and he plays. And there's like a moment where he just like rolls the ball out and then just pings it like 60 yards on a dime. And there's like U14, U16. So that's a big ball. And they're all just kind of like, what? And then he does a couple other things and like rips one in the top, like starts blowing by players one-on-one. And then he like takes off the disguise and they're obviously blown away. But the fact that he can melt, like when you see him with U14, he's definitely not the tallest. And I say that as a man who, if I were on that U14 team, I would also blend as far as height. So like, I'm not,
they're not blessed with a tremendous amount of height. Yeah. How crazy is it? Like some of the goals he's scored with like the bicycle kick he scored in the Euros one time. You just don't look at him and think that's physically possible. This guy can do any of that.
He's a specimen. He's a true specimen. I think it's just the distribution of like where his weight is in his body, because he and Eden Hazard are about the same, but his cube level is way higher. His cube rating is about a 9.
Yeah, he's a barrel. He's a barrel.
I want to argue like the worst signing. I'm not sure the worst signing, but the biggest disappointment for me for Liverpool has been Thiago. Honestly.
Yeah, Thiago.
He's been like I thought getting him from Bayern for whatever it was, 20 million or whatever it was. It seemed like a steal at the time, and it seemed like, oh, this guy is gonna like just be a rock in the midfield. And all he does is go, he just fouls all day.
Well, it felt like a cheat code.
Rakes people's ankles.
It felt like a cheat code.
Yeah.
It felt like, okay, you have Liverpool. They just won the league. They played 12 games after the restart, and they didn't even show up, and they still won the league. And then they pick out the center midfielder holding the CDM from the Champions League winning team that basically cruised until they hit PSG. It felt like a cheat code, but he's bad. He's just not. He's not quick. I think the Prem is honestly just too quick for him.
He's not going to press. That's like part of the thing. He's not a Klopp midfielder. And I mean, I thought it was a great signing at the time, but obviously like shows what I know. Also, he came in late, so he didn't have a training camp. I mean, none of these guys had a proper training camp. He came in late. He looked great in that first game or two. I think it was against Chelsea. Maybe he showed up his first game. He was amazing. Yeah, he's looked real bad. And Keita, who we bought for even more before him, has never panned out. And so now the midfield's looking real slow.
It's looking slow. It's not. There's no bite in the midfield.
No.
And I was thinking of questions. I was like, all right, Dan's coming on the pod, big time Liverpool fan. So here's my other question, other than the fuck Chuck, Mary, or the mercy kill situation there. Mm-hmm. Here's my question: what team wins? I don't know how you want to answer, because saying a one-off game is always really tough. So you could say like a home and an away, or over 2 legs with aggregate. The 2005 Liverpool champions winning team, anywhere between the 2005 to 2007, that was a very strong team. They went to the final in 2007, lost to Milan. Is that the best? Like, who wins in that era, or the Salah Mane when they were firing on all, basically between 17 through 20? Because they're interesting matchups there that just obviously this is all opinion based and there's no perfect answer. But I was thinking about that earlier, and I don't necessarily have an answer, so I want to hear from you two. But Dan, you want to take a first shot?
No, it is. It's a good question because the recent team, the back line was better. I mean, so this last run of Liverpool here, the back line's way better. The forward line, I would say, is pretty significantly better. But the midfield of that '05 team, I mean, that's Javi Mascherano and that's Xabi Alonso and depending on the alignment, Jarrett, like that's gonna overrun. But that's the thing, like this last group, like our midfield never got a ton of credit, but they were really solid. And they rotated a bunch too, which helped. I gotta take this most recent group. I think the forward line was a lot better. The defense was solid. Like it was a really balanced team. Like Jimmy Traore started that Champions League final. Like he was playing in Seattle a year or two later and not very well. I got to go with this most recent group, but like you play that 3 times, it would definitely come down to the third match. Like that would be fun to watch.
Jeff, what are you thinking?
I mean, those are like when I was like really into the Prem in high school. I remember that was like the team, right?
Yeah.
Or it was like right when we were graduating high school. And that was like 05, 06 is like when I was watching. It was like Liverpool was pretty dominant, pretty good. Gerrard was like the guy. Go-to guy, but just this last run of games, like they were the best team in Europe, like legit the best team in Europe. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we could say that about that team before. No. They weren't. So, but like I probably echo the defense is probably it was just so solid, and even Henderson and playing in the midfield was just he could distribute the ball, and he was just kind of like a rock. In the middle. Then you have the Salah and Mane and Firmino scoring a ton of goals, and that's just.
I think this newer team. Now that hearing both of you talk, I think the newer team would win. And thinking more about the 2005 game, AC Milan go up 3-0 before half, and they're just classing them off the field. That AC Milan team was also unbelievable. Dude. With Seedorf, Pirlo, Inzaghi, Rui Costa. Dida and goal. I mean, the team was class.
Yeah.
Cafu was in the back. That team was class. And I think 1 out of 10 times, Liverpool scores 3 goals in the second half, takes it to overtime, and wins a penalty. But I think that AC Milan team was more balanced, as you were saying, Dan. It is actually more reflective and indicative of the Liverpool team that went to the final against Real Madrid and the Liverpool team that beat Tottenham and that won the league last year. That's just so balanced when they were firing. And obviously a lot of it has to do with Van Dijk, as you were saying, being really pivotal. Like you can't win the Champions League without having a stud defender. You need somebody to do that kind of work. You need somebody to sit back there and like figure it out. And so obviously this current Liverpool team doesn't have any of that, but
nope.
I do. Okay. I agree. Yeah. I think that this current Liverpool team probably would have won. Thinking about Liverpool moving forward in the situation where you sell Mane to Barcelona, who do you get? Do you take that money and go somewhere else? Do you tick off somebody from Barcelona? This is not the easiest question, but I'm excited to hear your answer.
Oh God. Yeah, I was trying to think about like who's the forward I would want. And it's tough to like answer that without like coming up with a ridiculous.
But you could but you could totally do ridiculous swaps and say he goes here and then we take that money and we push it around.
We buy Mbappe and like we have to trade the Red Sox or something to Qatar or whatever. I think we're not getting Mbappe. Like you see that rumor a lot, and it's like there's zero chance that's happening. I can never tell if this is like me wanting it to be the case, but don't you think Pulisic would look? I mean, granted, he would be out half the games, but don't you think he would be a decent forward for this group? Like on the left, he presses hard when he's out there. Yeah, his hamstring would blow twice a season, and that would suck. But I just think he'd be great to see in there. And actually, like you would have a lot of left over after the season he's had now.
It's funny because I was just saying like Chelsea doesn't give him the amount of playing time he deserves.
Right?
Yeah, he seriously doesn't. And I love the signing. I think that was a great signing by Chelsea, bringing him in, and he immediately made an impact, especially in the restart. But then now that he's healthy, Tuchel's here. Tuchel's like, I'm going to play like these old guys. I'm not going to play the young buck.
So he is playing young bucks. He's playing German young bucks.
Okay.
He's playing Havertz, he's playing Werner, and he's playing Mount, the homegrown kid. I think Christian still has a place at Chelsea. I just think it has to work out. I think one thing that has to work out at Chelsea is they need to probably offload Ziyech as soon as possible. He has not panned out. The Prem is literally too fast and too physical for him. He can do it in the Dutch league, which is kind of like a 3-team league. Just seeing him even try to play against lower level defenders, he gets beasted physically. And he's always on the ground. He's just constantly off balance. So I think when Ziyech moves on, that will be different. When Havertz drops more back into the midfield, which I think will happen, I think Kovacic, Jorginho, and Conte, all three of them will not make it through the summer. And I think there's still room for Christian at Chelsea. However, and this is hard for me to say as a Chelsea fan, but this is me speaking as a U.S. men's national team fan. If he could go to Liverpool and just basically replace Bobby Firmino because they kill him or they send Mane off and they get money, that's phenomenal. Yeah. And then they bring in somebody else, because here's the thing. I think Liverpool is going to struggle, as we've talked about. They may not even be in Europe. There's a real contingency right now that they're not going to be. Jan, what do you think the possibilities of that are?
It's, greater than 50%, right?
Oh my God.
I am not a big Europa League stan. It's going to feel weird if we're not. We're still in Champions League. Like, there's an off chance we could still somehow make our way through there, which would be the craziest and most ridiculous ending to all of this. Top six, it's not looking real good. Like, Henderson's out till May. The center backs aren't coming back anytime soon. The new guys look all right, but it's 50-50, I would say, that we missed out altogether, which is wild. But also 50-50. For a thin squad, maybe not the end of the world if you're just looking at next year.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Liverpool is it's going to be tough for them to buy players, to entice players to come, and they're not going to have as much clout at the bargaining table, because players are going to be like, you want, all right, Real Madrid, you want Mo Salah. Say Liverpool says we want 120. Real Madrid's going to say, no, we'll give you 90. Because they know how desperate they may be if that's the decision that they make to offload that. Do you wait? So it looked like do you disagree? You think it's gonna be tough for Klopp to sign players if they're not in Europe?
I do, yeah. I think his track record speaks for itself pretty well, and I think it'll definitely add a little bit to the price. But dude's like playing for Klopp. He's had a lot of success. He plays pretty fun football. All the top six teams, have any of them, Tottenham doesn't really want to sign anybody half the time. Is there one of them that, I know this gets thrown around a lot, but that have really struggled to sign the people they want and constantly lost out? I feel like it's more just a matter of they just have to pay a bit of a premium for not being in Europe on a given year. The part about Barcelona undercutting us on a price, that I think is definitely realistic. That's what happened with Suarez for sure. Well, that and he went and bid somebody in the World Cup, so Madrid didn't want to bid for him. But yeah,
his value got cut in half. We watched that game together.
Oh God, yeah. Hopefully, Mane doesn't, get real hungry on the pitch anytime soon.
The interesting thing about next season, especially, and Jeff and I talk about this every once in a while on the pod, is players positioning themselves strategically to be able to make sure that they're competitive for their national teams.
Yeah.
Because starting next year, that season bleeds into 2022. Now, the 2022 World Cup will not be in the U.S. summer. It will be in the U.S. fall to winter, but still, you're going to need to have a really good showing next season between 2021 and 2022 if you are trying to find your way on the team that's going to qualify and then the team that's going to play. And so that's where I'm like, if you want to do that, you want to be in the most elite European showcase, which is the Champions League.
Yeah.
So even if Mbappe wants to play for Klopp and Liverpool will pay whatever fee they're going to have to pay, I don't know if Mbappe says that's what I want to do. Now, obviously, Mbappe is also a rare case because he already won the World Cup and maybe it's not as a big deal to him, but still, and he's kind of lock, right? He's going to be playing on the France. It's a lock for him.
Yeah.
But it's the idea that I think players are going to start to strategically kind of position themselves with where they want to be to make sure that they're getting the time at the best level that they can play at.
Yeah, there's probably something to that too. I also think this gets back to, I don't see us as a big signing club too often. The really successful big signings we've made, they've thought about them for a really long time. They've been strategic about them. And I'm thinking of Alisson, Virgil van Dijk particularly. And the Keita one, which just hasn't worked out for weird reasons. I really thought that was a good signing. But then the other really successful signings have all been under the radar. Robertson, Gini Wijnaldum, guys they got for cheap, who they scouted really well. I would love to see them take a couple more shots like that in the midfield and the forward line. I'm not sure this quite fits the bill, but somebody like Almiron, my God, if Newcastle go down, I would sign him tomorrow. I love that guy.
I think he would fit at Spurs even. He'd fit at a lot of teams just because he works so hard.
Yeah.
And he's just like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps running and running and running and running. And he's got actual quality, which is from the MLS too.
If Newcastle go down, he is super undervalued.
I actually think the way that club is managed, if a club comes knocking for him, they will let him go at the right price. It's the worst managed club in the Prem.
It's not
you
close.
think Newcastle's the worst managed club?
One of the. Oh yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
The worst owned
club.
Yeah, the worst club structure. Okay.
Club structure. Absolutely. Yeah. It's really bad. They've been trying to get bought out. They've been trying to switch owners for years now.
Yeah, it was a Saudi Arabian something or other that was.
There's a lot of turmoil. there's a lot of turmoil in that.
Where are they trying to
organization.
sell the club? Like Facebook Marketplace? I mean, like
Christie's auction.
Yeah.
Yeah, are they on Craigslist?
eBay.
Just people come knocking. They're like, we want to buy Newcastle, and then they're like, no, it's not. It's this much, and they're like, it's not worth that much, and then it goes to like the league.
Sir, that's overvalued.
Yeah, and then it goes like the league has to vote on it, and then they don't want a Saudi prince buying it because that would put too much money into the club, and then it would become another Manchester City. I think that's what everybody's afraid of.
Yeah,
with Newcastle,
they had a buyer who was willing to
Yeah.
pay. I forget, but some like insane amount of money. But
How much? Just the
it was.
like,
It wasn't. Oh god, I'm gonna look this up while we talk.
I think
is it a billion? Was it like
wasn't it?
Was it like billion? He's a billionaire who wanted to buy it. That's for sure. Either way,
I'm fine. You know what? I'm fine with some Saudi. Obviously, geopolitics aside, if it's a certain Saudi prince, if there's money that wants to come into the Premier League and buy a club, I think it's absolute horseshit that the FA is like, no. We already have too many, lamb bros here buying clubs and doing this. That's what Chelsea did. That's what City did.
Yeah.
I see no problem with it. It actually, in the long term, will help the league, I think, because it's going to make us more competitive in Europe, more competitive in all those things.
And it trickles down to all the lower leagues too.
How does it trickle down?
Well, they share. There's a cost sharing now.
Oh, okay. I was like, is this some Reaganomics thing?
No.
Because I haven't seen
sharing.
any of Bezos' bailout money.
There's revenue sharing now.
Do you see some of Bezos' bailout money?
Hopefully in my paycheck.
Okay, good. I'm proud of you for that. No, Jeff talks about this all the time, that Almiron's probably one of his favorite. He's on top 11 underrated players, and with that, we're gonna go right in and talk about West Ham, because what the shit is going on at West Ham? I honestly think that Souček and Declan Rice are the most underrated midfielders probably in Europe as far as a pair.
Oh, they're not underrated. They're rated. They're like right where they should be. I don't think they're underrated or overrated.
I think they're underrated.
Especially Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice is overvalued in terms of like what David Moyes thinks he's worth and what the rest of the league thinks he's worth.
If they finish top 4, they're going to get whatever they want. They're not
going to get $100 million in the COVID market.
Dude, they're going to be able to
Rice.
get human beings. They're going to be like 3 Xherdan Shaqiris for this guy.
I just don't think West Ham, if they make Europe, I just don't think they're a club that's positioned to really push for it. Like, I don't think they're that big of a club.
I agree. I think if they got in Champions League, it would be bad for them next season because I think they would be spread on too many fronts and it wouldn't work out well. Dan, you've said that Liverpool has a 50-50 chance, which I think is probably accurate, unfortunately, to get into Europe. What do you think West Ham's top 4 chances are right now? Do you think they're 50-50 or lower?
I'm lower. I like them. I've always kind of liked West Ham. I mean, I like their fans. I like the bubbles.
Oh, it's because he's. Oh, I know why.
But,
I know why that is.
Why?
I know why that is.
Why?
Because he's a Liverpool fan, so he's in Merseyside, that whole area, England. If he was a Tottenham fan or a Chelsea fan, you'd hate their guts because it's another London team.
Yeah, I know. What is
there's something to that for sure.
Okay,
I love West Ham. They're the best team ever.
That's true. West Ham's a team that Liverpool normally, take behind the shed with a mini bat out of London. The other London teams maybe are a little bit more problematic.
Yeah,
I always loved Andy Carroll. Like, he was a Liverpool guy when I started following the team, really. He was at West Ham for a long time. Like, I never found him threatening. He was just kind of adorable, and he was hurt most of the time. But yeah,
never heard the adjective adorable.
He'd jump around
might
with
be
his
wrong.
ponytail.
Yeah,
his ponytail waving around in the breeze.
What's a good word for it? You're right. Adorable is really not right.
Like
he's a little dirty
giant.
He was like a dumpster model. Like super hot, but like Andy, like, don't sleep in there. There's garbage. Like that. Like
super hot, but
a little
super
greasy.
rough around the edge.
Yeah.
But still driving a.
So you think the chances of them finishing in the top 4 are like what, 30%?
I think
20%.
That's high. Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. I think they're good. But
do we think that's high, or is that what we want to be?
That's like, what I hope it's like 5%.
All 3 of our teams could not finish in the top 4, and West Ham finished in the top 4, and that would be a dark day.
It would be a really dark, especially with Brendan Rodgers sitting in there too.
Yeah.
I don't love to see. No, I mean, I guess I will believe it when I see it. I just don't think they're quite as good as these results have been. I'm not entirely certain that I can say that with a straight face. But like we beat them recently, and like that, I was surprised by that. But I would put my money on your boys, on the Blues, on either Blues or Tottenham over West Ham. Honestly,
I honestly thought today's game, West Ham against Leeds. I mean, Leeds had some first half chances they should have put away, and then Leeds played like Leeds and didn't and then just gave up some goals. But even like the game, the West Ham game against Spurs, we didn't talk about. I mean, we talked about this when in the Everton week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Spurs easily should have tied that game second half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was 2-1. Spurs were pressing the whole second half. Were unlucky to basically get a goal, and then everybody's talking about how great West Ham is, but they escaped that game. So that's how I kind of feel about their season. They've just kind of got away with a bunch of games. The one team that pushing towards top 4, pushing towards Europe is Everton, and then they lost today, obviously, Chelsea, which we love to see it. But I don't like Everton. You'll be glad to hear that. But also, if you look at their goal differential, of all the top 8 teams, they have the worst goal differential. It's like +5.
Yeah.
It's +4.
It's +4 now.
Jeff pointed this out, and we were on like a FaceTime call, and he lost his shit when
I was
found
like,
that.
this is the luckiest fucking team.
No, because what did you say? It was the metric for most luck. Yeah, basically, if you're that high up, because you look at, Manchester City's differential is 37, obviously. Manchester United 23, Leicester 16, Chelsea's 19, West Ham's 11, and then Everton's 4. And then
Spurs,
Tottenham's 18.
18.
So they're like amongst the trees. And what that really says, whether it's luck or not, they've barely won many games.
Right.
I'm going to be I'm going to be very surprised if the top team to finish in London is West Ham as far as up the table, and the top team to finish out of Liverpool is Everton. That's going to be, shakes.
You think Liverpool are going to finish above Everton? Or are you saying you'll be surprised? Okay.
No. I'm saying if Everton finish above Liverpool in the table, which is, as of right now, probably going to happen.
They're
probably
3 points up with a game in hand on us. Yeah. And like trends are not going the same way.
The trends are
I don't think Everton's trend is up, honestly.
You think?
I think Everton's trend is mediocre treading just kind of like win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. That's how I feel Everton is. Their loss today was bad. Like, that's a bad loss today. They didn't just get beat. They got slapped down by Chelsea. They controlled that whole game.
Let's look at Everton's. Let's just look at, because we got a Merseyside guy here.
Yeah.
Well, let's just look at the rest of the season. It's not easy. They still have to play Aston Villa.
Yep.
I don't want to play Aston Villa. Jekyll and Hyde. They got to play Leicester.
Rough.
Newcastle.
Whatever.
No, sorry. Excuse me. Well, I blacked out. Still got to play Aston Villa. Still got to play. I'm just gonna call it the big ones: Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham, Wolves, and they play City on the last day. That's going to be a very interesting game because I don't think City are going to have anything to play for, and Everton are definitely going to be trying to either get in top 4 or stay in top 6.
If they take 10 points out of those last games, they'll be extremely lucky.
Well, out of those teams I mentioned, they still also play Sheffield, which they'll win. Brighton, they'll win. Crystal Palace, Burnley. I think they'll probably win, just like you said, up and down. I think they'll win half those games.
Yeah, that exactly. And that's not enough to get them top 4.
Do you think you guys are going to beat them? Because they beat you in the first game of the season.
Yes, I think it'll be payback. I think it'll be payback because they barely beat us.
You didn't care about Everton, and then they beat you, and then it was like...
It was 1-0 off of
has
I still remember that game.
Throwing stars upstairs at like Ancelotti's face.
No, I remember that game. It was off of a free kick in like the 80th minute or something. It was brutal.
Oh, don't get me started on brutal. I mean, brutal draws to Everton, but the one back in the fall where... Van Dijk gets murder tackled on and apparently you're allowed to do that if someone's offside. It's okay. You can literally kill them on the field. And it's not a penalty. And then the goal that
got Pickford.
Like, this man's dead. Well, he was offsides. He had it coming. That was a rough one.
That was a red card. Easy.
That was the clearest red card that has never been given. In a time where you have video review and you get to see it from 17 different angles of a grown man jumping and scissoring the other dude from the... he was
offside. His life didn't matter.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. His life didn't matter. Well, let's get into week 28. You excited about week 28, Jeff?
No.
Actually, before we get into... Yeah, okay, cool. Awesome. Before we get into week 28, do you want to talk about the midweek game?
Which one?
You said there was one midweek game that I had to remember.
City versus another team. I can't remember.
Southampton.
Thank you.
City versus another team. Honestly, you actually said it was right. Yes. City versus another team, because right now Southampton is just another team.
Well, Southampton won this week.
Yeah.
This past week.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
An L, a W in a pile of L's gets lost.
Is City going to do is City on a down? No, I can't even say that with a straight face. They did lose to United, though.
They did. Yeah, but that was City, it was smash and grab from United. Yeah. I mean, when you go down a goal in the first minute to a hop, skip, and a prayer from Penandez, it sucks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we start with the midweek? By how much is City going to beat Southampton, Dan?
We'll go 3 goals, probably maybe a 4-1.
Ooh, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Danny Ings, maybe, or
Danny Ings. No, he's
actually,
definitely hurt.
Danny Ings is mercy killed. James Ward-Prowse, probably.
No, not even.
Who?
Minamino.
Minamino's super nice.
Oh man.
Could get him back.
You might want to get him back. Although I think he's going to get
No,
sold to like some Italians.
Yeah, I love him. He's a sweet guy, and like he'll have moments of real class. But that didn't work out the way I hoped it would.
So what do you think he's going to get sold to? Some like Italian team?
Yeah, I think Southampton. I think Southampton will make it permanent.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
well,
There you go.
That'd be good. They could for sure use him.
Yeah,
He's class.
Yeah.
So Friday we have Newcastle versus Aston Villa. Newcastle fighting for relegation. Essentially, they're down there. They're in the basement, and Aston Villa really.
They're fighting for the relegation, or are they fighting against the relegation?
They're fighting for the relegation.
They're actually
like
wanting
I fight
to get
for Chelsea. Their team is relegation. They're fighting for it.
We choose death.
Exactly. It's like the scene in the third Batman. Do you want death or exile? That's where Newcastle is. They're in that.
Well, the good players, they know they'll stay in the Prem, so maybe they do want death.
Yeah, Almiron's like, please.
It's
death
really
by
cold
exile.
here.
Exactly. He's like, please send me to Malaga. Newcastle, Aston Villa. What's your score prediction? Jack Grealish is probably not playing, and it's at St. James, so Aston Villa's on the road.
Do I go first? I'm feeling a drab.
Yeah, you're up.
I'm feeling a drab 1-1.
Oof.
I don't think he's wrong.
Own goal and a penalty. Like, yeah, nothing to get excited about.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I know. That
right.
last Aston Villa game, I think like Hemi Martinez was the man of the match or something. It's pretty rough.
A sub was the man of the match. All right, on Saturday, early in the morning, 7:30.
I don't get to call the game now, huh? I don't get to give my prediction. That's how we roll now.
I thought his prediction was so good. I was going to overlook your prediction.
Okay,
I'm going right to the next prediction.
I think you're right. 1-1 is probably right.
God damn. Next Saturday, 7:30 for all you people with 3 kids.
Oh, I'll be up at 5:30.
Jeff's up at 5:30 milking cows here.
Man.
Leeds, Chelsea. Keep in mind that last time these teams played, I thought it was going to be closer, but Chelsea took Leeds with a mini bat behind the shed.
I'm
going first?
Dan, you're up. What do you think? Leeds, Chelsea.
Oh God, you roll the dice like every 4th match with Leeds. Yeah, why not? Let's do this. Yeah, let's go 3-2 Leeds. Barn burner.
It would hurt so much, but if it happened, at least it would be, you know what? If Chelsea's going to lose and I'm going to get up that early, at least I'm going to see a good game. Because that would be a phenomenal game. Because Leeds is so fun to watch.
Yeah.
We always say that. I don't think they got it in them. I think Tuchel's got that defense, well structured. They can't break. Leeds won't be able to break them down.
Chelsea's defense looks probably one of the best in Europe right now. In 10
strong.
games, they've only given up 2 goals. One of them was when Rudiger had like a brain fart, and the other one was Minamino.
No, the question is, does Tuchel put Zuma or Rudiger back there?
I don't know.
Because he played Zuma today and it didn't look bad.
I don't know. He'll be in as long as he's playing the 3 backs. I don't know where Thiago Silva fits. You know what I really hope? I just really hope that Pulisic scores. I just need Pulisic to score 1 goal.
Yeah,
I don't
me
care if
too.
it's on the bench in 10 minutes in the game. The guy just needs to
He's
score.
not going to start, that's for sure.
Nope.
Oh, dude. How is you know what? We're not talking about Chelsea.
60 million euros.
Crystal Palace, West Brom. This is a candidate for Mini Bat Game of the Week. Mini Bat Game of the Week, Dan, either goes to a game where like Man City is going to beat West Brom 9-0, or there are 2 teams that are so bad it's analogous to them fighting in basements with mini bats. So this is a mini bat on the ladder because it could be ugly.
Yeah. God, why are Crystal Palace so bad? Like, you still look at the team, and I don't know. There's like, I like a lot of the pieces there, but yeah, I'll go.
You like Gary Cahill playing center back?
Don't love that part. That's a good point.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what piece?
Yeah.
No, I mean, Eze's nice, Zaha's super nice, Benteke's nice. They got some. They have some pieces. Okay,
He's been taking 40. Like, doesn't it feel like he's been playing forever?
He looks
weathered.
Old,
weathered, like an oak.
Yeah, exactly, like a fine whiskey. Crystal Palace, West Brom. What are you thinking? They're both getting down there.
Yeah,
getting down there.
2-0 Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I think Crystal Palace is better than
a Crystal Palace 2-0 win. That's an ugly game, boy. That's FA
right.
Cup first round.
You're right. There's no way they're going to have a clean sheet. Yeah, 2-1.
You talked me into it.
Good point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Next one, Everton Burnley. Ooh. Let me check. It's at Goodison. I just wanted to say Turfmoor, but it's at Goodison.
I love saying Turfmoor. Yeah, no, Everton's slide continues happily. I don't think they're going to lose, but 0-0, embarrassing for everyone involved. This is not based on form. This is just based on spite.
Yeah, I don't like Everton. I think Burnley actually shows up to a lot of games that you feel like they're going to lose, but then they show up and they steal 3 points. This game, it's going to be boring. I think 0-0 is probably right.
If it's 0-0, that's rough because that's not how Everton get in top 6.
Burnley scored 20 goals in 28 games. I'm just saying. It's not been great.
So what you're saying is this is their breakout game.
Here we go.
Chris Wood.
Exactly. The next game, this is a candidate for mini bat where it's a David Goliath situation. Fulham versus Man City. Man City coming off a loss. Fulham coming off a win. The tables have turned.
It depends on how their midweek game goes, right? City's midweek game?
Yeah, it depends on how bad they beat Hasenhuttl.
Well, it depends what lineup they put out there, right? Because they basically have
City.
two starting
they have
11s.
$6 billion on
They have
their
two
bench.
starting 11s that could probably both be in the...
Is it going to be Riyad Mahrez or Sterling? Shit. This is at Craven Cottage, if that changes anything.
Okay, am I the one who thought Fulham looked really good like this last weekend? Like, other than Scott Parker's ridiculous too tight puffy coat, which I wish they'd had one in his size, otherwise it would have looked really nice.
It was Gap Kid's pea coat.
That was real awkward. Yeah. But besides that, they looked good. They were into it. They were energetic. Like, they were pressing really well. Is it crazy to think they could steal a point here?
No, it's not. We picked them to escape after week 24 or 25, and I tweeted it just because I used tweet kind of like a library of like things I once said. But we do believe that Fulham can do the escape because
points at 26 with whoever the hell.
Yeah, I mean, and at the time they were 5 points
Brighton,
behind the 18th place team. So Fulham have a flow. They know their strengths and they're going to play to them. And they're really obviously not afraid to lose. So it's annoying to play a team that's not afraid to lose.
It's the best thing you can say about them. Yeah.
That's it. If that's the bumper sticker. We're not afraid to lose, Fulham.
I'll go bold. Yeah, I'll go 1-1. I could see it.
1-1 would be great because then, you know what? If they go 1-1 and United win, it's going to be, it's a 2-horse race. Oh, United have a chance. You bums.
Chance.
No chance. I love seeing United fans getting all like, Bruno Fernandes is next Kevin De Bruyne.
Bruno Fernandes starting 11 in all positions.
God. Guy scored more penalty goals than anybody else in Europe.
He somehow scored more penalties than he scored goals. It's like a rectangle square situation. Anyway, Southampton, Brighton Hove.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a strong take on this one.
You don't have a horse in this race?
I haven't scouted Brighton as well as I could, although my man Lallana's still out there producing. God bless him. Whenever I don't know, I'm just gonna say 2-1. Southampton probably gonna be coming off a little bit of a rough outing. We'll give it to him. Southampton 2-1.
That'd be nice. That'd be
I
great.
can see that happening.
It pushes Brighton Hove farther down into the relegation.
I said Brighton Hove was going to get relegated, and that could still happen.
Brighton Hove getting relegated.
Yeah.
Leicester versus Sheffield. This could be a mini bat. Ooh, this could be a smooth mini bat. Mini bat with like a 4-inch nail at the end.
I don't know. I think Leicester is still on the electric slide. They barely squeaked out a win last week.
I hope that they're on the electric slide because that's the only way that Tottenham and Chelsea get in the top 4.
Yeah. I mean,
I watched Liverpool like go toe to toe with them with no problem in the game they lost a few weeks back. Like, that fell apart at the end, but they didn't look, I thought, super great. And Liverpool handed that game to them. That being said, like, I don't know. I used to watch Brendan beat up a lot on really bad teams. I think they take this one. Probably.
I think they take it.
Probably a 2-0. Yeah.
Yeah.
2-0. Sounds about right. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the point where we will see if Jeff is happy or not for weeks on end. The bragging rights are worth $1 billion.
NLD, baby. North London Derby.
Let's go. Mourinho versus Miguel Arteta. The battle of who sucks worse at a presser. So, who do you got, Dan?
Where's the match again? Let me just get right on this.
The match is at the Emirates.
Arsenal looked a little frisky. It looked a little bit better recently.
A little frisky.
But I can't. No, Tottenham looked so good this last weekend. If they don't come, if they do what he's done and just set them up to draw and like just nick a goal on the break, they're gonna lose this game. But if they like actually come out to play and those front four play like they can, I think Tottenham could put on a show even at the Emirates. I'll take Tottenham 2-1.
I think David Luiz is going to have a rough day at the office. Yeah. I thought the game against Crystal Palace could have went a really bad direction second half after Crystal Palace tying right at the end of the first half. But they turned the screws, scored 3 goals in the second half. I mean, Kane, Bale, unbelievable. And so I don't think they're going to put a particularly like exceptional team against who are they playing? I don't know. Some Europa League team, some crappy Europa League team on Thursday. So they can play some scrubs and hopefully put a strong side out. So I'm going to think Tottenham 3-1.
If Tottenham plays the same top 4 that they played against Crystal Palace,
which they will,
which is Bale, Kane, Son, and Lucas Moura, those guys on the field are not made to defend for any long periods of time. And there's too much quality with them going forward that Arsenal's going to have to respect that and always have maybe even +2 back because of how quick Lucas Moura is and how much quality Kane and Bale have. And Son is also super quick. So I think I agree with you. If they go and attack, they could embarrass Arsenal. Arsenal's
not great in transition,
shaky.
Dude.
And Arsenal's also, if they lose this game, you know, we said the highest Arsenal can finish is 8th, and we got a lot of shit. But with this North London derby going to Tottenham and other things being even, I mean, 8th could be the highest they finish. It's just starting to shake out like that with Everton, West Ham, Aston Villa all firing and adding into like the, you know, the normal quote unquote top 6. This is a big game. I'm excited.
I mean,
I'm really excited.
Aubameyang's playing better. I don't think Lacazette's going to start unless something happens midweek because I think they're playing a Europa League game too. So they're going to have Aubameyang up front, which he actually has been playing better, scoring goals. They got Partey back. He's not like, I don't think he's been as impressive. I think he's still coming off an injury. I mean, David Luiz. I mean, some of these players. Xhaka, he's just a bonehead.
Granit
Xhaka is just a bonehead, dude. He's not a good player.
So what's your prediction?
I said 3-1. I think 3-1.
Dan, what's your prediction?
2. He said 2.
Yeah, I did. But I think you might be right. I'll go through him. That sounds right.
I'll go 3-1. I'd love to see that.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I think they have a better front 4 than they did when they played them last time. And you see how it went.
Is that the sexiest the front 4 has ever looked on a Jose Mourinho team? Like, they were going after it. That was fantastic.
Only Real Madrid. Well, actually, well. Now you've opened up the can. Yeah. Now you opened up Pandora's box. You have Real Madrid. When he was there, he had Benzema, Kaká, Ronaldo. Raul is still there, and he had Higuain in his heyday, and Di Maria. Those top 5-6 was nasty. He also at Chelsea had Drogba and Eidur Gudjohnsen and Joe Cole, and he had some serious ballers. But this top 4 is just very dynamic. It's all different. They all have like completely different like powers and skills. It's nice. This is the only way Jose Mourinho's teams can win. He needs like 6 dudes who will sit behind the ball and not move, and then he needs 3 or 4 guys that are unbelievable talents, and that way he can park the bus and still eat his cake.
He hasn't. I mean, because that first round of Chelsea, I mean, they were scoring. They scored over 100 goals, right? I mean, that was a fast flying team, and the last couple of rounds of this have not looked like that. But it was really fun to watch this last weekend.
It was great to see. Honestly, Bale has just got so much quality, and I think his fitness is kind of like slowly getting back up there. But there's sometimes he just picks his head up, and Jeff will be like, holy shit, look at that. And he'll ping a ball like 70 yards onto a guy's instep. Like it's nothing, just kind of casually. And other guys can do that in the league, but not in the way that he very decisive. Like if you watch every single touch he makes, there's a purpose to it. He really is in control of the ball and doesn't let the ball kind of control him. And it's a small distinction, but the elite players do it. And he's getting away with probably only being at 70% fitness and still like scoring goals and being in the right place.
Well, I actually think it's Reguilon that's like the key to that is the linchpin to the offense, because they have to respect that Reguilon's is essentially playing. He is a wing back, but he's up the field, making a run. And that's who Bale can get the ball to, because now he's playing on the right side. And so you see him ping these like 60-yard balls to Reguilon. It puts it on his foot in stride. And then you have Reguilon pressing up, so you have all the forwards are able to drop into the box or drop back. He is the key. And that's why they look so good against Crystal Palace. You can get away with having Doherty or having Aurier play on the right-hand side with Toby and Sanchez covering, because Reguilon is up the field, and then those guys can just kind of play more defensive and slot in. Once you take, and that's really why they were in such bad form. Reguilon wasn't playing.
Yeah,
He's literally the linchpin of that offense. And then you have Bale with quality balls and just knowing where to be, and you have Kane just scoring fucking screamers.
That was
bangers.
amazing.
That was unbelievable.
And my man Moore. I mean, we cannot forget my boy Moore,
he's
just working his ass off to win the ball back. Yeah.
I think this is a pivotal week for Miguel Arteta because Arsenal's falling down slowly the club hierarchy in England, and this could be a statement piece for him. The next game is very big for all of our clubs because we would I think we're all going to root for Manchester United, which is weird for us, but you have Manchester United versus West Ham. Dan, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking draw. I'm not sure what I think.
It's at Old Trafford. It's at Old Trafford, so.
The Ole Gunnar roller coaster experience, this would have to not be a win. You feel like there's no way. I just never feel like they managed to string together big results in a row under him, and they just got a great one. Now, do they have a match midweek? They do, probably, but
it's Europa League.
They have Europa League. Lingard cannot play because part of his contract. That does put a little kink in it because he's flying high out of the midfield for them.
Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, he can't.
And I think Manchester City have a tougher draw in Europa League.
Manchester United.
Manchester United have a tougher draw in Europa League. Is it Milan? I think they have Milan.
I think they have Milan. Yeah, they have Milan. I still think United actually win this.
Yeah.
I'm going to interject my opinion. I think United have more quality. I think David Moyes going back to some of those players played under David Moyes when that whole experiment happened. Actually, did they?
Is there anybody left? Is Juan Mata still locked in a locker somewhere?
Yeah, he is. He's still locked in the dressing room at Old Trafford. I don't know. I just think that they actually have more quality, and with Lingard not playing, I think United realized that if they want to go for the title, they can't just beat City and then lose to West Ham. I do think United win this game. I don't think it's going to be a clean game, but I think they win this game.
They should. They definitely should.
I'm going to go 1-0. I think
who's going to win the midfield? Declan Rice and Suchek, or
Fernandez, Fred.
Whoever.
They're closely matched. I think it's 1-0 United.
I don't know.
1-0.
I'll call 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah.
The last game is between Liverpool and Wolves. Not an easy game. Obviously, there's no easy games in the Prem as we would like to assert, but this is at Molineux. Molineux's not fun to play in. Liverpool is just probably has some of the least confidence of any team right now in the Prem, if not the least confident team in the Prem, just due to their recent form. What are you thinking on this one? This is a tough one.
Well, we've been better away from home. I mean, we are at 12 hours of play at Anfield without a goal from open play. And so if I was hunger striking, I'd be dead. I actually think this could be a rebound. I mean, I think they're going to get a decent result. I think they're going to advance to the Champions League this week. What that means for this, I'm going to be optimistic and say they actually pull this off and get a 2-0. Yeah, I think they've actually they've played really hard matches at Molineux, but they've been successful there in the last few years. They've all been really good matches, but I think we take it.
I think 2-0 is perfect. Sure, for Liverpool. Yeah, let's touch upon what you just said as one of the final items here. Liverpool play Leipzig up 2 goals, I think, from the first game in aggregate. Do they go through?
Yeah, I think they go through. I mean, the neutral locations are helping. I mean, for whatever reason, now Anfield's just become an anvil on the back of these guys. They play like crap there. Leipzig played really bad in the first leg, really surprisingly bad. Their defense was just booting the ball into their own goal half the time. I think it'll probably be a lot tighter, and you might see a 1-1 or something, but I think we'll make it through.
Yeah, Leipzig looked really flat. Yeah, I thought they just didn't. It's just one of those things where I always expect these German teams or some of these other European clubs that in Spanish teams like Atletico to come out and just put up a good game, and it was just kind of meh kind of whatever performance. I especially because I'd like to see. I thought Sabitzer's a quality midfielder who could go to Spurs next year, and maybe we don't really want Sabitzer because he doesn't do a hell of a lot. What do you think, Jarrett?
I think it depends who scores the first goal. Liverpool are in such shitty form with not a lot of goals from open play that if they score the first goal, I think they win the game, open play or not. If Leipzig score the first goal, then they know that they're 1 goal away from turning the tie around, and Liverpool's heads could just completely drop. It's also in the manner the goal was scored. If it's some stupid own goal or some dumb shit like that, I think that will really tell. I think the first goal is key. If Liverpool score the first goal, they go through. Doesn't matter if they tie or however they need to do it. If Leipzig score the first goal, I think Leipzig go through. That's my take. You heard it first.
All right.
But we'll see. We're going to look at fantasy really quick. And once again, there hasn't been a lot of movement. Jeff, you're actually climbing up. You're up to 6th now. The top 3 and the top 3 and the bottom 3 are just basically written in stone. I went up 1 position again, but I'm still 2 points away from 9th. And that sucks. So anything to say on fantasy, Jeff?
How do you? No, I have nothing to say about fantasy. I got a question about Champions League. Are Chelsea playing?
Chelsea's playing next week. The following week.
Next week.
And actually, if we want to go back to that, on Thursday, Manchester United play Milan, Tottenham plays Dynamo Zagreb, Arsenal plays Olympiacos. Those are all going to be good games. Dynamo Zagreb, you guys should beat. Olympiacos will be a little bit more difficult, I think, for Arsenal also because
it's a home and an away, right?
Yeah, okay. It's a home, even though they may both be in neutrals. And Manchester United Milan's going to be really something. I still think United will come away with that, but it's not easy games. These late week games, as opposed to Champions League, which is Tuesday or Wednesday, are going to not. That's why I think Arsenal should just lose out of Europa and focus on getting top 6. The longer they stay in the Europa, they're going to get injuries. They're going to have more fatigue.
But that's going to be their light. Like they're always going to be in that. They have to go for Europa. I'm sorry, they have to. They got nothing else going.
It's brutal.
Yep.
It's brutal. Well, I think that's about it. Dan, thank you for hopping on the pod.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me. This was great.
Any last words, Jeff? Do you have a haiku or something?
No. I am very intrigued about this New York, New Jersey thing he's got going on. I got a lot of questions there. We'll maybe explore another time.
Yeah, I said he lived in New Jersey City. He's like, that doesn't exist.
And then he said he lived in New York, New Jersey or something like that. New York.
It's like that island in Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, you have to know where it is to get there.
Exactly. You have to. And it's somehow always in fog.
Yeah.
Right?
That's all I got, Jarrett.
That's all I got. Dan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
you. All right. Ciao.
This club will not be a regular out of the Champions League. This year is difficult. We know that. I know that we have loyalty of the players. So that doesn't mean that it's not a situation where a player of the squad now says, next year we don't play Champions League, so I have to leave. So that will not happen. If a player doesn't want to come to us because we don't play Champions League next year, I don't want him. And if a player wants to leave us because we don't play Champions League, I don't want him.
Thanks for listening to the Boys and Bolos podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Twitch, @Boys and Bolos.
If you'd like to be a guest, please reach out. You can hit us on any of the social media accounts that Jeff just mentioned, or email us directly at boysandbolos@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, and see you next time.